What is going on, guys? Predator45H here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to something new and different. I stumbled across this game the other day. It is currently on sale on Steam for about $10. It's called Atlantic Fleet. I saw a video by another YouTuber called RamJB. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with him. He used to do War Thunder, does naval action now, a few other things. I don't watch too much of his content because he's got a very thick accent, and I can't quite understand him all the time. No fault of his own, but anyway, that's just the way it is. But I saw him playing this game, and I decided to check it out. And you know what? I've been playing it now for 5 hours straight. It's a naval combat game, as you can probably tell. But it's not really like World of Warships or even Steel Oceans for that matter, because it is turn-based, which is something that will put some people off, but $10, I'd still recommend you try it. There are a whole bunch of tutorial missions. I don't know what they're like, I never really did them. You can do single battles where you reenact famous naval battles from the Second World War. And then there's a campaign which has you go through a series of set missions, and Battle of the Atlantic, which is a dynamic campaign, so obviously things will change depending on how well you do or how well the enemy team does. You can play at the moment either as the British or the Germans. But anyway, so I thought we'd just go into a single battle, and let's do this one. Let's do this one. So we're going to reenact the battle with the Bismarck and the Prince Eugen versus the Hood and the HMS Prince of Wales. And now, because this is sort of a single mission, we would play as the British, but because it's a single mission, we can go two-player, and I can play as both teams. So let's get into it. Probably not going to do the whole battle, because these things can take a little bit of time. So we're just going to do it, show you guys the gist of what's going on. Graphics, as you can see, not brilliant. Not horrible, but not brilliant either. So we are in command of the Prince of Wales right now. I'm going to go all ahead flank, turn a bit to port, and then we're going to give the move command. And once you move, then you can select a target to fire. So we're going to fire at the Bismarck. We can go into binocular view here, zoom in, and the red line is where we're going to fire. So we're going to try and go for the magazine. If you look up here, it tells us that she's at 22.5 knots. 23,000 meters, and the recommended elevation is 19.8. Now this is the first shot, so it might be way off. We change the elevation here, and you can see what the elevation is down there. We're at 13.4. We want to get to 19.8. Let's try 20. I do recommend you go out of the binocular view, so when you fire, it will go like this and show you the shots. And as you can see, even at 20, we were short. But I mean, this game, now we're in the Hood. Same thing, all ahead flank, and we turn so we can get all guns on target. This is not my normal kind of game, you know. I don't normally like turn-based things at all. Once again, we're going to go into binocular view. We're going to try and go for the turret. This one says 22.3. Now that will adjust after each salvo. This one we're going to go 21.9. Because I did play this before, and Prince of Wales tended to need more elevation than it suggested, Hood less. So let's try this. Fire off a full salvo at the Bismarck. And can these shells find their mark? They're looking better. And actually, yes, I think that was 2 hits. Now we get to play as the Germans. Again, all ahead flank. And we're going to turn away slightly. Now, I've only been playing this for one night. I have no idea if I'm doing everything completely wrong. Let's go for the magazine. See if we can reenact history. 16.4. That seems a little low. So maybe we're going to try 17. And how do these do? And actually maybe 16. Actually, 16.4 would have been too much anyway. So now we get the Prince Eugen. Again, all the head flank, and let's turn away slightly. But yeah, I mean, this has just been so much fun. It's, you know, it's relaxing. It's, you know, not fast paced. There's no stupid teammates to let you down. 17.0, so let's try. It's just been a lot of fun, and for $10, I mean, that's, we got a hit. Hooray! Could have done with slightly more elevation, but there's always the next salvo. Just turn a little bit more. But I mean, as I was saying, for $10, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And I've really enjoyed it. This now says 22. We were quite short the first salvo, if I remember correctly. So let's try 22.3. If you stay in the binocular view, it won't do this part here, and that's overshot. Sometimes it can take a little while to find your mark, but I'm sure you'll get used to it as you know, as you play more. 22.5 now. Didn't we hit? I don't know. But you don't only fire your main guns, and you can fire all sorts of. Yeah, should have listened to myself. I was sure that we actually hit the first time. But I'll show you now. We won't actually fire them because we're trying to beat the British. But you can fire here your 15-inch armor piercing, 15-inch high explosive, 5.9 AP. So you can fire your secondaries. But firing your secondaries will count as your turn anyway, so obviously you don't really want to do that. Those were quite short, so 14.4 might be a good elevation to try. And not bad actually, we got a good hit. And let's move the Prince Eugen. And this is what I like about these little missions, is that you can control both teams and you don't have to wait your turn. 16.5. Eugen did hit as well, so we're going to try 16.4. And shots going in. And I mean, you can see how Hood is listing just from the single hit from Bismarck. We didn't detonate her magazine, unfortunately. So we're not quite reenacting history. But I played this same mission earlier, and Bismarck sank Hood, Prince Eugen got fucked, and I think Prince of Wales sank Bismarck. But I mean, it's just, you know, really good fun to just mess around like this. And as I said, I mean, there is campaigns where it's sort of persistent. So you lose a ship, that ship's gone. You earn points, and depending on how well your missions go, and the more points you earn, oh, that hurt. Bismarck knows all about that. The more points you earn, the better ships you can buy and that sort of thing. So, and that's really quite fun. And there's aircraft carriers and submarines. Submarines are a pain to deal with. Aircraft carriers, I haven't played them or really come up against them too much. And you see now, because we've kind of found our mark, the recommended elevation is going to be fairly accurate. I mean, we could have maybe done with a little bit more elevation, but I mean, you just play around with it and see how it goes. You can look underneath if you want. And let's go for that magazine, 13.6. We go 13.7. I imagine 13.6 would be to hit like the middle of the ship. So because we're going for a little bit further back, give it a bit more elevation. I don't know. And I'm not entirely sure about like how the mechanics work with armor piercing or high explosive. You know, with Prince Eugen here, is it even worth firing armor piercing at Hood? No idea. Should I be firing high explosive? No idea at all. Now it says 17.0. But yeah, I mean, depending on how much you maneuver and how much the enemy maneuvers, that obviously depends then how accurate that suggested elevation is going to be. Sometimes it's pretty accurate and you can just go to there or thereabouts when you fire. Other times you're going to find that it's just not accurate enough. And now it says 19.5, we're 19.4, so we'll just fire again. And how do these do? Now these are looking good actually. Oh no, too high, way too high. But we did get a hit, and things are going horribly wrong on the hood. Things are exploding. Eesh. There are some American ships in this game. I did see North Carolina in the what do you call it? Oh, you see, there we go. I forgot to come out of the binoculars, and now we sit here and we can't really watch nicely. We did get a hit, no, but sort of the encyclopedia of ships, or whatever you want to call it. And obviously, you know, after you fired, you should probably maneuver, not just go in a straight line like we are now. But we're not really playing seriously. We're just having some fun, just showing you guys this thing. So yeah, link will be in the description down below. Otherwise, you can just search Atlantic Fleet on Steam. That was horrible. The aim, yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, 12.9. That's where we aimed, and it was a horrible miss. So you can't always trust it. But yeah, I want to try and see if we can finish off at least one of these ships before we end the video. If Prince Eugen can do anything. The last time I played this, both battleships pretty much. No, actually, Hood focused Eugen, Prince of Wales focused Bismarck, and that's how I did it last time. This time I'm doing it a bit differently. 17.1, 17.5, I don't know. And a little bit too short. Come on. And Hood's just clinging in. Sometimes you will find that these ships just do not want to go down. I was doing one of the campaign missions, and I had 3 destroyers, and we were versus like a torpedo boat and a cruiser. And I didn't have a cruiser because the mission before, my cruiser had been sunk, and big hit on Bismarck there. So in this mission, I didn't have one. I had to bring out 3 cruisers, and it took forever because the cruiser just didn't want to go down. I managed to get 2 torpedo hits fairly early on, but even that wasn't enough, and then we just had to shoot at it with the stupid little guns. And another big hit, and there we go. Hood is down. Bismarck is victorious once again, but still got the Prince of Wales. But anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this look at something a little bit different. As I said, it's not something that I, really ever play. Any kind of turn-based game. I don't normally play them at all. Not turn-based strategies or anything. So I'm really quite surprised that I'm enjoying this, and that was horrible. I do hope you guys decide to maybe go and check it out. I mean, $10 is not a hell of a lot of money, and I've certainly got my money's worth out of it already, I'd say. But yeah, that is about it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below, and consider subscribing for more World of Warships, Armored Warfare. Probably not more of this. It's not really a game that you'd want to cover too often, but hell, you never know. But yeah, as I said, that is it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.